it's another hashtag. It's, save your community, Black man. We hashtag that. And it's for those that want to fix what we have here. And I am not particularly a woman that is just going to throw away my culture, my identity, my race, my community. I'm willing to fix it. And again, with those hashtags, that's pretty much what it's about.
What's up, my authentic fam? Welcome back, guys. Tonight, I want to do a little response to some comments made by the sister Shez. Hopefully I'm saying her name right.
How would Black women collectively step down in a way to show Black men collectively, like, hey, we're making a change? If this is essentially what you're believing in or what you wanted to do.
How do they do it?
Yes.
Before I get into that, I want to address this clip with her and the other sister, Courtney Michelle. So let me start off by saying, first of all, I like the sister Shez. I like her content. Well, I should say I like her, where she's coming from, right? I can appreciate it. So, nothing but love with that. The other sister.
Why do we enjoy being in misery? Because that's what it is. Because I know after a heartbreak, I'm not looking to fix it. I'm looking to play music and have wine and soak and cry over Anita Baker or Sade. And I enjoy being sad. Like I get off work and I would look forward to crying.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. Why?
I know her from, the podcast that she engages in on the Lapeef Network, and honestly, I've never been able to get through a single episode of that podcast.
On this episode of Lapeef, let's talk.
It doesn't matter.
You're the reason why Black men are running.
It don't matter.
I don't blame them, and I don't blame them.
Y'all better date the white women.
They're running to you, right? Oh,
date the white women.
What we're not going to do? What we're not going to do? I suggest you chill.
What is going on?
Wipe that makeup and take that wig off, honey. Looking like Esther Roll. Don't do me.
Oh, where's the ring? Oh, we don't have one.
Okay.
Where's the relationship? Q? Oh, we don't have one.
Kayla, you don't have a relationship.
All the fuck, man.
I am the wrong
because
Kayla.
The only person that can honestly say
another
anything would be Toya.
And I bet you Toya looking at you crazy too.
Yeah, so I'm not really criticizing it or being negative. I'm just being transparent and being honest, sharing my opinion. This is my channel. But the Lapeef Network, bro, I can never watch that show because the sisters on there, they just represent and remind me why I avoid Western Black women altogether. Again, just being honest, keeping it real, and I don't have a problem with Black women, but the reason why I don't have a problem with Black women is because I avoid them. It's that simple, you know what I mean? I don't like the energy, so I just avoid it, altogether. So when I try to watch that show, regardless of the subjects that they're tackling, I can never get through it just because of how argumentative and disrespectful the sisters they have on that show are.
Did you reach out to me?
I don't know. Let me check my text. I really don't, because I've reached out to HR.
I'm done, bro.
I really don't. I don't think
the sister code is real. And the reality is that there is no accountability from women, and this is exactly what it is.
There's no accountability from you either.
You disrespectful. Disrespectful, but you won't respect. Disrespectful, but you won't respect.
We're all even. There's no accountability. Nobody can hold anybody accountable. We're all just here giving our opinion. This is not a hold people accountable show. We're not in each other's lives. So you make your points and I'll make mine. This whole accountability shit is for the birds.
All right. Go ahead, Bruce.
No, all I was gonna say was damn, I almost lost my train of thought, but
I said that I'm leaving the show if certain things said to me.
We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear it.
And disrespectful the sisters they have on that show are to the brothers. And it's just like, can't even have a conversation. And I experienced that interacting with English-speaking Black women in every facet of society. I don't care if I'm trying to mail something at the post office or you're down at DMV trying to, I don't know, renew your registration or whatever you'd be doing there. They're just really difficult to deal with, bro. I'd rather do self-checkout at Walmart than deal with American black women. Again, just facts, bro. You know, and I know I'm not alone in that. It's just many people are afraid to say that. Oh, I'm racist, I'm, you know, misogynist, whatever, or I hate black women. You know, people are terrified of being accused of these things. I really don't give a shit. If you want to interpret it like that, go ahead and interpret it like that. The truth is, you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
You should focus on trying to understand what I'm saying instead of typing in the chat.
Oh,
right here.
I will type in the chat if I want to type in the chat.
Okay, hold up. I gotta hit the pause button. I'm sorry. Okay, Anton Daniel says to Kayla, "Yo, I'm right here, shorty. You can talk to me right here." Now I know there's a lot of people out there right now that's gonna comment, would love to be on this show, get into the bullshit with Anton Daniels, having a discussion with Anton Daniels. There's a ton of people. He got a long list of names. So is it wrong for him to say, "Yo, Kayla, hop off your phone. If you want to super chat about me, I'm right here"? Let me know how y'all feel about that, man, because I don't feel there's nothing wrong with that. But Kayla just got an attitude today.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're talking about. And the reason why you don't understand and why you're so short-sighted is because you focus on what's going on in the chat instead of being focused on what it is I'm saying.
I said what I said.
Just because you get an attitude, listen, just because you get tight about it, don't mean that your argument is any stronger.
Talk about you. Whatever you have to say.
And also, and I could be wrong.
Look at Boozer trying to change the topic.
Okay, get your periods off.
At least I talk on the fucking panel. Check other people in the chat.
Hold up. Pause that. Okay, now. Okay, Kayla. Now, Q didn't take no shots at you, and I know you was taking that shot at Q, Kayla. Island Girl Q doesn't like to speak that much on the panel because at the end of the day, Kay and Kayla just like to argue with all the guys on the panel at the end of the day, whether it's Lapeef, it's Anton, it's Chicago Rilla, it's Logic, it's Quest, whoever it is, Mr. Let Go, they gonna argue with him.
The reason why I want to address this clip I started with is because this is an argument that I was over with this argument 20 years ago.
Thoughts on Stab? Do you think this is possible even remotely?
Scab?
This whole
I've never heard of it.
So this was, this is essentially what this conversation is about. You know, the lovely I'm Courtney Michelle. I think her and We Need to Talk, correct if I'm wrong here. But, in their different collaborations, they came up with this idea of Stab, right? Or, save your community, Black men. And that's essentially Black women creating a movement that shows Black men in America that they don't need to go abroad. They shouldn't have to go to abroad to find good, lovely, marriageable women. So this is the conversation. She was explaining to me just her ideas, her thoughts, how they came about this, what that would look like. So, I mean, do you think that this is even possible? Do you think that there's any possibility that there could be a turnaround for a collective, for a small minority? What are your thoughts?
I was just about to say, I don't think there's enough women that could get on board for that to be too effective. Okay. I don't know how well. That's why I say that there's no hope.
20 years ago, at 18, 19, I was already over this argument. All right? So I was always outthinking my peers. I was always thinking way, way, way ahead. Most guys my age weren't even thinking about issues that complex. But I was already like, stop. You're not gonna shame me into being miserable with American Black women because it's my responsibility to restore the Black community. No, absolutely not. I'm not gonna be dealing with someone that is making every part of life more difficult than it needs to be just because that's their temperament. Why would I put up with that or suffer through that because I'm supposed to have some type of obligation to the Black community? Bro, I'm not even Black, I'm Jamaican, first of all. So if that was the case, I would have to marry a Jamaican woman or is being obligated to someone. So yeah, so I just wanted to address that real quick because it's very, very weak and it's very, very lazy. And real quick, the reason why I feel that way is because that's basically Black women, first of all of a sudden playing victim and saying, okay, you know what? We have to do this together. We need you, Black men. Really? You weren't saying that when, The Color Purple came out. You weren't saying that when Waiting to Exhale came out. You weren't saying that when No Scrubs came out. You weren't saying that when The Woman King came out. You weren't saying that when you were cheerfully watching these films, singing these songs, and reading these books that promote hatred of black men. You weren't saying that then. And it seems like women want to start talking like that when they're 30 some odd, 40 some odd. Now you're talking about, hey, we got to come back together and repair the community. Nah. And what I'm saying is, it's hypocritical because what black women are asking so-called black men to do, mind you, they're only talking to a certain demographic of black men. I want that to be very effing clear. When these women sing these songs on their soapbox about how, oh, black men aren't dating us and aren't marrying us, they're not talking about black men. They're talking about that small percentage of high quality black men that have already checked out. That's what they're talking about. Let's be clear with that, right? The Pookies and the Ray Rays were still there. The so-called Dusties, they're lined up for black women. So stop that, okay? But they're asking these men to all of a sudden forgive everything that's been said and done in the past, decades and decades and decades of disrespect, underappreciation, hatred, and resentment for black men, right? They want us to forget all of that, right? And believe that somehow they've changed. These are adult women. It's already in their DNA to be resentful of black men. So that's just a Halloween mask that they're putting on to act friendly, to get some guy to agree to cohabitate and somehow restore the black community. Now, what I mean by it's hypocritical is the same women that are saying black men are supposed to have this type of, like, I don't even know what you call it, but they're supposed to just accept black women the way they are and accept that negative energy, but yet these same women would never, how do you say, make yourself small to coexist with a strong man. They won't humble themselves. They won't like cooperate. They won't be respectful. They damn sure won't submit. They damn sure don't like that word. They're not going to submit, but they want the guy to make himself smaller to be with them. And hopefully I'm not going over anybody's head, but let me try my personal experience with trying to deal with black women. The reason why I stopped even trying to hit on them, ask them out, you know, get to know them or anything like that is because from the moment you meet them, you're already having to dim your own light. Because that's what they always say. That's why I'm trying to use their language, right? Because I'm trying to somewhat talk to the sisters here. Dim your own light. That's what you have to do in order to engage with them. You have to let them talk to you in a condescending tone and just accept it. You have to let them make little spiteful comments and you have to just accept it and play along. You got to let them be, you know, indirectly disrespectful, but you still got to play along, right? You have to let them act resentful if somehow you did something to them and you just met them. You just met black women and they're already acting like you're guilty of something simply because you're a black man.
When a black woman is with a black man, I think that we need to start giving them the benefit of the doubt. I think a lot of times we go into relationships on a defense and we're already prepared for the worst. And I think even when black men walk in the room, and it's always, you know, the woman hold their purses because they're always, you know, black men has never had the benefit of the doubt of being a great man. It's no, he's a predator. No, he's a thug. He's a pookie. He's that. So that's one thing black women have to do is start giving men the benefit of the doubt. I think black women need to get out of their own way of fear. I think a lot of women act certain ways because they're hurt for whatever reason, whether it's self-inflicted or not, they're coming out of pain.
In other words, black women are more prejudiced to black men than non-black people. Now, I don't want to hear any black women arguing because you're not a black man, you wouldn't know, sis. You wouldn't know, okay? But that's how a lot of black guys feel when interacting with black women. They feel like you're treating me like I did something to you and we met 5 minutes ago. So they expect you to deal with all of that to do what now? To get their phone number? To ask them on a date? To treat them to a date? To pay to get to know them? To show them a good time? So you mean to tell me I have to tolerate that type of treatment? I have to accept, you know, accept being spoken to that way and being dealt with that way, all so that I can appease you and somehow prove to you that I'm worthy to be around you. Sorry. I don't have time for that shit. I'm not doing that for anybody. So what happens is the attitude and the energy that black women have and give off, a lot of times it creates this force field that quality dudes aren't even trying to break. They're not trying to get through that. They're like, why do I have to do all of that? I'm the quality dude. Why do I need to do all of this shit just to say hi to you? So anyhow, that's me trying to address that clip about somehow black men are now responsible to come back and fix the black community. Wait, what now? When the funny thing is that you're basically saying black men are supposed to be responsible for the black community, yet they can't have any authority in the black community. Because that's the issue right there, is that black men have no say-so, they have no authority, they have no power, they have no control in the black community. Oh, no, but they're supposed to be responsible for it now.
I was just thinking something that Lady T said about, you know, if you're doing 50% of the work, then technically you wouldn't consider that being a single mom, and which I agree. But does it depend on who's doing the other 50%? Because I've known single women or single moms who have responsibility of their child, but their village provides the other 50%. So are we looking at, is it just the father of the child that we look at when we say that they're not, you know, they're only doing 50% of the, you know, parenting, you know, or does it matter who's giving the other 50%? If that makes sense.
It does. What was that for me? Because I said that.
Well, just anybody, that just popped into my head when you said that. So I'm like, well, does it depend on if it's the dad doing the other 50%? Or I know like there are a lot of people who grandparents, you know, like their parents stepped in and do the 50% or auntie or whoever. But if it's not, are we looking at just not the dad doing the 50%, or it could be anybody that's doing the other 50%?
I think, well, to me, I feel like it don't count if you created that village yourself, because at the end of the day, if the dad's not doing nothing, in most cases, you have to pay the auntie, pay the cousin. You still have to spend so much money just.
Thank you for this comment, forever blessed. He says village equals grandma. That's what my observation is in the hood, and what a lot of other black men are gonna say, and a lot of black men are gonna also say. Our observation is a lot of grandmothers are end up taking on that load. See, because I do this to check men, because see, a keen observation that I've noticed in the black community is some of the most ill-behaved young men you'll see in the black community are young men raised by their grandmother. I call them grandma-raised N-words. I've been doing this for a while. This has been bothering me for a while. I noticed this when I was young. Guys who are raised by their grandmother, oh my God.
Still considered like all in single mom. But then again, it depends on the relationship you have with the dad. Even if it is 50-50, it just really depends on who you're doing 50-50 with when it comes down to the father.
And I'm telling you right now, if other men were checking for black women and black women were attracted to other men, they would have been forgotten about black men a long time ago. So the black women that are singing that song, it's a combination of either they're only attracted to black men or only black men are attracted to them, okay? It's not coming from a genuine place. I'm sorry, Sister Courtney or whatever, but most dudes just ain't buying that narrative. And if they are, they're really weak-minded. If someone's gonna guilt you into being in a dysfunctional, disrespectful, underappreciating relationship just because of the color of your skin, that's nonsense. It's funny how people don't want to be discriminated against. They don't want to lose opportunities or resources just because of the color of their skin. But now you're over here telling men that they're obligated to put up with a certain level of BS because of the color of their skin. And the attitude of these women is always, if you can't handle me, you're intimidated by a strong, independent woman. It's always something that the black man's supposed to put up with just simply to deal with sisters because he's black. I don't understand how black women would be somehow surprised, hurt, or offended that black dudes with options would choose otherwise. I'm really confused. If you make yourself the worst option, why would someone with options pick you? By default, the only people that are gonna pick you are the people who have no other option. It's like, oh man, there's nothing else on the table? All right, I guess I'll take this angry, argumentative, non-cooperative, resentful, disrespectful black woman because there's nothing else. But if there was something else, why would they pick that? So it doesn't make any sense that these women now turn around and whine and complain that they're not getting chose. Like somehow they're the victim. You're not the victim. You chose your behavior, sis. And I get it. There are a lot of black women who maybe aren't that unpleasant to be around, but they're already stereotyped. And stereotypes cannot be that powerful. I'm gonna tell you why. Because black men also have a lot of negative stereotypes, yet they find themselves dating outside of the out of black options all the time. They find ways if they're willing to do whatever they got to do to get out of that small pool of options.
Okay, next level says, imagine talking like this when men who pays thousands in child support only see the child on weekends in many cases. It's like, come on, like from the moment it starts off, it's not fair. And let's look at it from this point. Most men, as soon as they have a child, they automatically go to a second-rate situation. The woman is usually the custodial parent right out of the rip. And then the man is a non-custodial parent. He's like a second-rate citizen in his child's life if he's not married to the woman. So before anybody, and they haven't evaluated the man or the woman to see who's more competent to raise the child. And women talk about fairness, you know, so on and so forth. And women are, and women a lot of the times end up with a lot of the load because the court system set it up to where, okay, you want money out of this guy? Okay, he gets the baby 2 days out of the week. You get him 5 days out of the week. And then what do women do? Complain about that 5 days that they got and go, he only got to see his babies on the weekend. But that's what you wanted because you wanted that bread.
I don't know if it was conscious or subconscious, but I think already the fact that you had a lot of black men going in supporting this white woman at the same time that BFF, right, or at the same time that the promotion of black American women not being marriageable options is going on, was like salt in the wound. It was like painful. And I heard it again in the audio I'm going to play in a few minutes when the caller called in to Brother Omwali and she was like, I don't even like being a black woman because I go online and I go in these different spaces and everybody is telling me how bad I am. And it was sad to hear that. But I was so grateful for her being honest because I think,
yeah, man, it's just way too much feelings, man. The feelings is really, really hurting these women, bro. Which is why women need a man. This is why women need a man. They need a daddy, they need a big brother, they need an uncle, and they need a husband. They need men around them to stop them when they're going down this path because it spirals. It's like, ooh, I don't like that feeling. And then they dwell on it, and then the feeling gets worse. And then it's like the worser they feel about it is the less they're using their intelligence to break this down. But anyhow, you're not letting these black men raise their kids. You're not letting them have any authority over the woman, over the child, over the community. But now you're complaining that those same black men are up out of here. I was having a podcast stream just last night. I was saying to the ladies, have you ever occurred to you that men do not like or are not comfortable in a relationship where they have no authority, where they have no power? Like, you know, what guy wants to deal with that? And you got some guys that go to work and they're the boss and then they got to come home and they got to deal with their chick. And it's like, that's ridiculous. You have authority over other men, but you have no authority over your woman or your kids. It's a little ass backwards. But anyway, guys, let's enjoy Black Panther. Some more, you know, programming. You know, so let's go enjoy Woman King. You know, let's go enjoy some more of this entertainment provided by the elites that tell black women that they don't need us, so that those same black women can go on to suffer without us. Make it make sense. But I tell you right now, the second Black Panther is about to do a couple billion just like the first one. There's already black people rushing out there with all this, with all this generic pride, all this fabricated pride. It's a fucking movie, for God's sakes. I'm out of here, man. Peace.